everybody, and welcome back to Just Ask Mrs. Hurlbut. This is episode 8, and our topic today is, wait for it, jealousy. With me today is not quite another Hurlbut. She was a Hurlbut for the first 26 years of her life or so. No longer, but still my daughter. So my daughter is Rita. My daughter Rita is here to help me out today. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Mom.
So happy you're here. Thanks for helping me out.
Here, of course.
All right, so we're going to talk about jealousy today. Jealousy is a kind of a controversial topic because there's a lot of truths about jealousy that people, especially young people, don't fully know, understand, agree with, or accept. So I'm hoping that I can clear up some confusion or maybe offer you a new perspective. But let's see what the questions are. Rita, number 1.
Number 1, isn't a little jealousy healthy in a relationship?
Oh my goodness, if I had $1 for every time I heard that. No! Did you hear me? No. There's absolutely nothing good that comes from jealousy. You might say, oh, but it proves my love for him because of how angry I am when he's with his friends or he looks at another girl. No. Wrong. There's nothing good about that. The only way for a relationship to be healthy, and this is where people say I'm crazy, is if jealousy is 100% removed from the equation. Not part of the conversation, not part of the thought process, not part of any decision making. No jealousy. All right, I don't even know what else to say about that. And any relationship, marriage most importantly, I always tell my students, if they're in a dating relationship right now, ask themselves, does your partner have jealous tendencies? Do you have jealous tendencies? Do not shrug those off. Those are red flags. I don't care how you look at it. They're red flags. Whether the jealousy is mild or aggressive, still a red flag. And I always say, if you're guilty of that, if you have jealousy in your heart, you know that about yourself. You got to start working on it, and remove it from your character. Remove it from your relationships. And that's a whole nother answer. So I'll wait. Maybe you'll ask that question. But how do you do that can be super, super challenging. You're saying no, you don't see any questions that have to do with that. Should I continue then?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you remove jealousy from your heart? Not easy. It's changing old habits. It's building self-confidence, because the more confident you are in yourself, the less it matters what other people say or do. When you build confidence in your own abilities and your own gifts and talents and value and worth, no matter what you see around you, the people that you're in relationship with are locked into that, and they know that about you, and you trust that about them, that you're not looking for validation. You're not worried about every turn of every corner. When I tell my students there's no jealousy in my marriage, they think I'm out of my mind. They think I'm lying. It is crazy, but it's so true. But that's something that we never had to begin with, so I don't really think I ever had to get rid of it. I had to get rid of it with siblings and friends for sure. I was resentful a lot, and I didn't realize that resentment was jealousy.
Well, I was just about to say that I think that resentment, and you use the word trust, the lack of trust can be construed as jealousy a lot.
Yep.
So I think people use that word when they really mean, they think they're feeling jealousy, but it's actually that they really just don't trust the person.
Right, or the other way around.
Right.
Or they don't even recognize it as jealousy.
Right.
Because they're too caught up in the trust.
Because
but
they're
if
too insecure in either their self or in their
exactly,
partner.
if they could grow in in their knowledge of who they are as a person, and if they could appreciate what they have to offer, not what they have to receive, but what they have to offer, that's jealousy just doesn't even come into play.
Because you would never be quote unquote jealous of your significant other partner being out with a member of the opposite sex or whatever it may be, because you have full confidence and faith and trust in what's going on in their brain while they're doing that action. You're not thinking that they might have different intentions.
Right.
Which is, I think, where that stems from.
I had a student ask me not too long ago, really it was the podcast that I did before I turned it over to my own podcast. And it was a question about a vocab word that I hadn't heard before, which was, what's it called again? Maybe you can help me. A picture on Instagram when it's sort of a sexy picture. Thirst trap, yes. What do you do when your boyfriend likes a thirst? Well, just a thirst, yeah. And I needed an explanation, and I was like, okay, first of all,
it's just a sexy, pretty picture
right.
of a different woman.
But my first response was, well, she shouldn't be doing that. She shouldn't be exposing herself that way. But that's a whole other thing. But secondly, if he's doing that, you got to, get to the bottom of the why. But if you're confident in your relationship, you're trusting that it is nothing more than a like. You've got to focus on the confidence that you have in that relationship. Be a devil's advocate. Go for it.
Well, it's not even devil's advocate. It's just to build on it, because obviously it's a different world now. Like you said, I didn't even know what that was. But it's really about also individual boundaries within individual relationships
that you
have to be set at the beginning
together.
To trusting people.
Absolutely.
So it's hard to answer that question out of context, because you don't know what boundaries these two people have or have not set.
Have you been listening to my podcast? I talk a lot about boundaries.
Yes, but that, because it ties into everything, and this is the biggest part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't be unrealistic boundaries.
Right.
They can't be boundaries that are set out of jealousy.
Right.
But they have to be boundaries that make both of you comfortable.
And that's what builds confidence in the relationship. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give me another question.
Okay. Why does it bother me so much when someone else does better than me?
Well, people live in a world of competition. Mm-hmm. There's no two ways about it. But does everything have to be a competition? No. And on the last episode, I said to your husband, why not focus instead on where you do shine? Just because someone's better at one thing than you doesn't mean there isn't something else where you shine. And who cares if maybe they're just as good as you or better at that or not as good. That shouldn't matter.
Two things can be true at once.
Absolutely.
You can respect and admire
and be happy for
happy for the success that someone else has, while also being inspired to gain that same
Exactly.
success.
That's such a great point. Be inspired by it. Don't be threatened by it. Be inspired. When we're inspired by each other, we lift each other up. When we are threatened by each other, we shoot each other down. And if we're all about building relationships, then stick with the former, right? You just have to remove jealousy, stop competing, stop comparing, appreciate the gifts that everybody else has, and nurture your own so that you can be super confident and happy with what you have, not just to receive, but most importantly, to give and to share. Well, good points, Rita. Mm-hmm. All right. Next question.
How do I deal with feeling left behind or left out, which I think is kind of just an extension of the previous question. Gosh. Because everything we just said, I think applies to that question too.
Well, I immediately thought about friendships, and I remember growing up, I always believed I was being left out. And in many cases I tended to be that kid that if there was a group and someone had to get nixed, it was me. And then I raised 2 daughters and 3 sons, but 2 daughters, it came up with both of you. And I remember saying to both of you, when you'd come home upset because you weren't included in something, and I say, you know what, I'm so glad that you came to me and that we're able to talk about this, and I'm able to encourage you and make you believe in yourself despite the decisions that other people are making. I would so much rather talk to you as the odd man out than the one who's excluding other people.
That's something that always stuck with me, that you've told me.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. And I said the same thing to Lucy. It's much easier to deal with the person who's being left out than the person who's leaving other people out, because the person who's being left out can gain a new perspective and learn and grow, especially if you're surrounding yourself with examples in your life that can encourage you. The kid that's being exclusive, it's a lot harder to break through that person.
Well, I was just about to say that there tends to be a reason that the kid that gets left out is the kid that gets left out. But it kind of goes to a previous podcast you had too, where everyone finds their own way and finds who they are at different points in their life. And I think that, at least I can only speak for myself, but I realized at a very early age that I tended to be that person because whether it was conscious or subconscious, they knew that I could handle it.
I was just going to say that.
And so
exactly.
It took me a little bit to realize that. But once you realize maybe why you're being left out, not that it justifies the actions of the people that are leaving you out, but again, it makes you gain a different perspective and more confidence in yourself to
Very
move
true.
forward with it and see it in a different light. And I do think that not that there's any health in jealousy, but the healthy part of sometimes being left out is that you gain that growth that people who aren't getting left out
absolutely do. So true. My siblings, who were horrible to me growing up, will say to me, because now they all love me, they'll say, boy, we were really tough on you, and we made you feel bad, and we left you out, and we singled you out, and boy, did you grow in character. Did it give you, it made you really thick-skinned, and it made you really confident in yourself because you were forced to be alone all the time.
But it's hard to see that in the moment.
Well, I was just going to say, it's easier said than done to say, all right, okay, sure, they all went on a trip and now they're posting pictures and I'm not there and no one ever bothered to ask me. I'll be okay. No, of course you won't in the beginning, but if you're not learning and growing from that event, then it was all in vain. You really want to, and you've got to surround yourself with a parent or somebody who's older and wiser who loves you and says, you know what, let's go get a pizza and talk about this, because what they did or didn't do does not define who you are. And let's talk about all the reasons that you're amazing and wonderful, and that somebody is going to see that. I promise you. And in the case of myself and my daughters, that happened tenfold. But it takes the time, and you gotta learn and grow.
And just to close the circle, a lot of the times as well, if not most of the time, the people that are doing the leaving out are also exhibiting jealousy.
And are very insecure.
And it's where it's all stemming.
So, truth.
So
okay, what's up?
That one wasn't really a romantic relationship.
That's right, they don't have to be romantic. Nope.
How do I stop wishing I had what other people have?
It's very, very similar. But this one's more about the you and the wishing. Shift your focus. Focus on the things, like I've said in many of the episodes, focus on what you do have control over. And that is building up your own personal resume, your own gifts and talents, and stop, what was it again?
Wishing I had what
Yeah, stop wishing for what you don't have. Go out and get what you can get. Focus on what you do have control over.
But sometimes what other people have is something that you
can
easily get.
Yeah.
And so that I get, the frustration comes when I hear that question is, take initiative.
Right.
Take personal action.
Stop belly aching about it.
Yes.
Do it. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta put your words into action. Very, very true. Is there more?
One more. Why do I compare myself to everyone else all the time?
Because you live in a world that's all about that. I mean, I guess I did it when I was young, but to the extent that it is now, it's unhealthy and can be extremely damaging.
But that's the why. That is the why. It's in your face
24/7. So that's when the boundaries come back in. And this might not be answering the question because it's not the why. The why is pretty obvious. But if you're looking to get away from that, Limit your screen time. Set your own boundaries. It's not unrealistic. And I have a handful of students in the past who have said to me, I took a break from social media for a month and it was the best thing I ever did. Or I gave it up for Lent, like the best thing I ever did. Preach that. It's so important. When you guys were growing up, social media didn't come around until you were in high school, and you didn't even have a cell phone until you were in high school. It wasn't.
I was on MySpace, and I was on MySpace in the kitchen computer.
Oh my gosh!
Like with permission, but that was
the limit. But even then, it was it started. But now it's feeds all day long on the algorithms. If you like something, you're going to see it more and more and more, and it's going to be less and less and less who you are, and then you feel less and less. Stop that vicious cycle. The why is that it's in your face all day. And the problem with technology, and I've said this for years, technology came around way before any of the boundaries for the technology and limits for the technology came around, or the lessons came around, or the damage that it would cause. We didn't know any of this until after the fact. And you can vouch for this, I was very, very strict with computers and then phones and then social media until you guys were adults. And now, of course, I have no control over that. But what I'm witnessing in my own children, I think you were born just in time. The kids who were born after my children, I think, have it a lot harder. The audience I'm talking to, they have it much worse. And I remember talking to their older siblings 5 years ago saying, you just wait till you have my younger sibling who's been on a device his whole life.
I was going to say, even between me and Lucy, who are
oldest and youngest of my kids, yeah.
It's night and day.
Yeah. So the why is obvious, but if you don't set boundaries, the machine wins. Mm-hmm. And that's heartbreaking because the machine is the big wall between you and healthy relationships. So we got to I know we can't get rid of the machine, but we can take the machine and we can turn it into something that works in our favor, like this. We can text one-line sentences, and if we want to say more than that, we pick up the phone, right? So that we're not misjudging what people are saying. We'll have a whole another episode on communication. But the why is really the culture of today and social media and all these devices that everybody is glued to and now hooked on.
Is what also facilitates the extreme amounts of jealousy in all
Absolutely.
These relationships nowadays.
And the addiction to the device feeds the jealousy, and the jealousy feeds the addiction to the device. It's just...
And the knowing what your partner is doing and where they are and who they're with at all
right,
times. Right.
And that's one of the reasons I'm even doing this now is because my students say to me, Mrs. Hurlbut, we need this. We need reality slapped in our face. We need to find an alternative reality because this is not sustainable. Like, this is what I hear all day long.
That's such a funny statement too, because what they actually need is reality.
Yeah.
Like they are in the alternative.
Right, that's very true.
So
I hope everybody can hear you. I know the mics aren't strong because you're saying a lot of good stuff.
Am I speaking louder than my husband?
I don't know. We'll find out.
There's no way.
We'll find out in a minute.
But yeah, I think that is at the heart of it, because I feel that in my own life. I can't even imagine how your students at their age feel, because they live online. They live in the alternate reality. They need their wake-up call, their slap in the face needs to be going outside and riding a bike, going outside and interacting with their friends and their partners in a real-life situation with their maybe boyfriend or girlfriend.
Right. And I commend all of you parents out there and all the parents of you young folks who take that seriously and raise you to turn off the device and talk to me, turn off the device and get out of here and go out and play. I commend you, and I hope that my children's generation will raise their kids, will be able to maybe loop the pendulum back around to a more wholesome way of living and recognizing and building relationships face to face. Is that the last one?
That was the fifth one.
Oh, okay, so we're finished for now. If you have any more questions about jealousy, because there's a lot of them, don't hesitate to ask. I can always do another episode, or I can email you right back. Okay, it's crazy outside. I want to thank Rita for being here today.
My pleasure.
It's a lot of fun talking to you. Thanks everybody for being here. Please comment, email. Take care. See you soon. Bye.